Hello, and welcome to the next ReeVlog. I'm near somewhere that I've done many vlogs in the past, I think, and if I haven't, it's a place that I've been to many times before or after vlogging. It's somewhere that I used to come to quite frequently, and I'm currently on my way to. This was several house moves ago, really, back when I was at university, and shortly thereafter, in fact, one house move after university, I used to drive to near here and then walk. And I don't live that far away from here now. It's just with the whole chronic fatigue and 40 plus hours at work, plus doing more work, self-employed, on a Sunday, and attempting, largely failing, but attempting to maintain some semblance of a social life, doesn't leave me a great deal of time to just go for a walk, which is a big shame, but never mind. So, why the vlog? Well, one, it's just a nice morning, and I'm going for a walk because I can today. I woke up at about 2, and then again at about 4. It's now about it's now about 6 even. So I figured not too many people would be about, maybe a couple, probably some dog walkers if anyone, or people doing running, which would be me if it wasn't for my feet hurting all the time, and have some thoughts to share. So was in bed almost immediately after work yesterday, but I got up again later on in the evening because I tried to sleep and failed, but I rested enough to overcome the tiredness, and then the insomnia kicked in. So yay, didn't get to sleep until like 1 o'clock, I guess. That's okay, not good, but okay. But in the evening, because I had some evening time, I did some work on a D&D character, including designing their mini on Hero Forge. That was pretty cool, like the look of it. Downloaded the screenshot type deal, etc. I might try drawing them today if I have time, but I have a lot on my to-do list, especially considering I'm doing this walk first, which was not on my to-do list. But when I woke up this morning, I was really groggy, felt a bit dehydrated, so I put some, made a isotonic beverage, popped it in a water bottle, like a disposable one that I had laying around, went for a walk, drank it, disposed of the water bottle in a bin like a good human being, and here I am. But yes, so where was I going with that? Yes, Dungeons and Dragons. I don't think I've vlogged since going to the last move around the country session, which are very nice. There's a tractor in this field. That didn't used to be here. I saw there was a tractor, but I figured that'd be over the river. Well, maybe I'm not going to go all the way to where I thought I was. That's a shame. Still, it's quite nice here. Hopefully no one else is going to come around. But, yeah. So, since the last move around the country session, when I was there, my character died, but the DM had a very smart revival feature come into play. Now, I'm not entirely sure how they explain it via the lore, but it's every boss monster that we've fought, and that is like big boss monster. Have been smaller bosses that aren't so, but like plot integral boss monster, I suppose I should say, drops a key. Now, my characters, the keeper of the keys, wore them on a necklace, but the keys seemingly unlock a box. The box has been used to resurrect 3 of our characters so far, because there's been 3 big boss monsters, and 3 of us died last session during the last encounter, which that's not very conducive to a good end of a session, is having 3 of the players die and then not being able to do anything like wrap it up at all, because that was relatively late on in the evening, if I remember correctly, which I may not, but it was on the last day we were playing, and it was the last part of what we were doing, more or less. So, not great. But we did it. Yeah, they did that. So we lost those keys. Once they were used, they were only used. They were gone. And apparently, each character can only be resurrected in that manner once. So, yikes. My character, therefore, will be dead as a dodo should they die again, because the player who was our cleric has said, due to plot reasons, they think their character would stay in town. Now, their character, we're level 6, going on for 7, I think. I think we're just shy of level 7. So, their new character will be level 7, because we're all going to hit level 7 very shortly. And so, level 6, you have 3rd level spell slots. You do not have 4th level spell slots. Their character in town is going to not be getting very much experience, I imagine. So, they will never progress past Revivify as far as resurrection magic goes. Now, the DM may say they gain some experience, but they'll level up slower than us, or they get specific spells they can do X amount of times a day, rather than working as a full character class anymore. Dunno, but I imagine not, because it's meant to be quite a dark and gritty setting. Think Dark Souls levels. So if we die, we die, I imagine. As such, given that we won't be having any resurrection magic, my backup character is more important than ever. Now, I did have one, which was a wizard, but the issue with my wizard was, I think we have someone else coming in to be a wizard, and then the bard is also retiring their character, I think largely because they don't find bards very enjoyable to play, and I think they may have picked a bard because the DM, their favourite class is bard, but the DM is a bard in real life, more or less. I don't know about musical talent, but he talks the talk. So they're coming back as a paladin, apparently, and they have a tendency towards playing aggressive, violent characters. They like high DPS, AoE. Their favourite character was that wizard that they played. Boom, fireball, etc. So if we're having a paladin, I imagine, due to their love of DPS, they're going to be putting most of their points into strength, and with some help of the DM, as they are the least experienced D&D player in the group, with some help of the DM, they might also deck out their constitution. So, my character, at the moment, is kind of persuasive due to an advanced background. We're using the Grim Hollow third-party campaign setting stuff. So he's fairly persuasive, but he's not very charismatic in general. Very dexterous, being a monk, very wise, with a reasonable constitution. Now, I don't want to play anything too similar to my other character, but I don't want to directly go for the opposite, because that feels equally as weird. Like, in world, the fact that my character dies, the fact that someone else just rocks up soon anyway, is kind of strange. But if it's someone very similar, that's even stranger. Or if it's like the complete opposite, that's equally as strange as if it's someone's very similar. Hence why, rather than going for like a Way of the Astral Self monk or a Platinum Dragonborn dragon, Platinum Dragon Dragonborn, or something like that, I have decided to go for Dwarf. Now, this campaign is a sequel campaign to a campaign I played in before, where I played a Dwarf. That Dwarf, I retired to then be a bard, because the Dwarf kind of got a pet dragon, and I thought to myself, it's not very fair on the other players if I have this dragon, which was the Pirate King's pet, that can move between the normal realm and the astral plane, and has like a star breath that is insane. That seems a little bit unfair on the rest of the like level 5 adventuring party, and the DM said that they could work it out so it'd be fine, but I said, no, this is okay, I'll play someone else. And so my character, Maladrin Amberstone, adventurer, shoemaker and torturer, retired to focus on the shoemaking rather than the adventuring and the torturing. But Amberstone is a in-world house that I created in the DM's world, in this homebrew setting. The dwarves are kind of like mafia families, most of them anyway, and so Amberstone is like a branch, a subset of Blackstone, and they are the torturers. And all the dwarfs in the know will know that if there's an Amberstone, there's probably some information being extracted somewhere in the vicinity. They are also like the heavy arm, so if the Blackstones need something done and they don't send any of their own, they don't want to send their own people or their constructs, because if I remember correctly, they were big into robotics, then, well, they will send Amberstone. So, I've decided to play as another Amberstone, which will be funny, because there is another player character, who's a Bluestone, and Amberstone have taken the place of House Bluestone in, like, the royal hierarchy of dwarves in world, and some may believe that they are partially responsible for the almost extinction of House Bluestone. Now, my character is going to pretend to not be an Amberstone. That's going to be part of their whole thing. They are on the verge of being houseless, but of their own free will. They aren't really a huge fan of torture. Like, they can do it, they know the techniques, but they prefer just the threat than the act, and usually they're quite good at that, so they can get away with it. They've got the soldiering advanced background from the Grim Hollow stuff, which would then mean they can get an additional dice roll for intimidation. I have done a little home brewing, which I need to run by the DM, but so their race gives them specific things. Sort of just taking a note from Tasha's, but homebrewing the race rather than yeeting some stuff from a different race or anything like that. So, gets an extra d4 for intimidation from the race, being Amberstone, because they're very intimidating people. they are raised to be able to torture people. It's pretty intimidating. You think you'd pick up a thing or two in putting the fear of God into people. And they were a soldier. So, that would mean I'm hoping to be able to go for a level 2 background, because you go up to level 4 backgrounds, I think. Level 2 background would be an extra d6. Using the ability score improvement at level 4, I took Prodigy. I know that it's not actually available for all races, but I think that's really dumb, and I'm sure that Ian would agree with me that it's really dumb, and I wanted expertise in intimidation. So, at that point, I've got 20 charisma. I have, so that's plus 5. We are level 6 or 7. New characters will be level 7, so if I die and I bring in the new character, it'll be level 7, so that's still plus 3, I'm pretty sure, on the proficiency, so that makes it plus 6 due to the expertise, so that's plus 11, plus a d4, plus a d6. Yeah! On top of which, I would like to learn guidance at some point, taking Magic Initiate Cleric or something, I don't know. I just really want to learn the guidance spell so I can guide myself on it as well, so then it's 2d4, 1d6, plus 11, whatever I roll. Now, of course, that doesn't stop me from getting a natural 1, and without taking, like, 11 levels in Rogue, very little will. And I'm a sorcerer. So, I could have been something like I think Clockwork Soul might be able to do something to do with it, but Chronergy, Time Sorcerer, I'm pretty sure Time Sorcerer can just be like, no, it's Wizard, Time Wizard, I could be, boom, I win, but I'm not going to do that, because they're in the Grim Hollow again, there's a haunted background, and there is a spectre transformation, where your character becomes an undead, ghosty person. Also, hello horse. Are you going to come over? Does anyone here know that I'm scared of horses? Because I am, but I'm going to let this one smell me and try and pet it, because it's best to face your fears. Oh, it's not coming over, that's fine. I'm going to leave then. Yeah, so, that's the case with that. I've got, so I wanted to be Dwarf, Spectre Transformation, and the Haunted means you can summon a Spectre as a familiar. You learn the Find Familiar spell, you can summon a Spectre in place of a normal familiar, and I don't think you can summon a normal familiar, I think it's just you get a Spectre using the rules of Find Familiar otherwise. So the Spectre is your familiar. And you do get added benefits, so the Spectre, you can, instead of taking the attack action on your turn, you can get it to do its life drain. Then, at later levels, which we'd get, because I think it's level 6 or something, if you cast a spell on your turn, using your action, you can use your bonus action to get it to do life drain, and you can use what is it? Ah, yes. So usually using familiars, you can cast touch spells through them. You can cast any spell through your familiar so long as, through the Spectre, so long as the other elements apply. So I'm pretty sure it has to like be one action, not like a ritual spell, not like a 1 hour casting time or anything like that. I think it has to be one action and stuff like that, but that's something that I'll need to check if I ever actually get to play the character. If not though, I'm thinking about using them as an NPC or a DMPC, just an important individual, maybe a villain, I don't know. I'll figure it out when I DM at some point, because I ordered the mini. I liked the mini so much I ordered the mini, and it'll give me a good bit of practice in painting smaller minis. The mini for my monk that is my main character, At the moment, I can just clip the wings off of because they no longer have them. It's not a very good mini. It printed really poorly anyway, so whatever. But with that in mind, I've been a big fan of doing all of that. It's been really fun. I miss that sort of work of creating characters. D&D, obviously, every system has its flaws, but I think that it's a good way to create characters that you can build stories around abilities, or you can build a story and fit abilities to suit it. Less so in the second regard, sadly, in my experience anyway, because I'm a bit of a stickler, a bit of a perfectionist in that regard. I have a lot of, oh, if this character had this sort of backstory, they should be able to do these things. But obviously there's only set things that people can do in D&D. You have to make it fit between the rules. So I do a lot of homebrewing. Hence why I've homebrewed that race, or sub-race I suppose I should say, for Dwarf, for Amberstone. I can't remember whether the DM has already got a Amberstone sub-race. I don't know whether they did sub-races. I know that they have sub-races, but I don't know whether they have stats for them. But whatever, we'll see. But yeah, so that'd be cool. But I've also said, well, level 7, you get some adventuring experience in. People tend to find magic items over time. My character was a soldier, they've been at war, they left the war, or battles, etc. And they have pretty much joined themselves to guilds. They are like a sellsword at this point for the most part. They're not doing it for the money, they're doing it for the experience and the loot, which, you know, kind of is the money, but upgrading their gear. As a soldier, they gain proficiency in heavy armor, and shields, and martial weapons. This isn't part of the advanced background, but it is a byproduct of white hair on my leg, whatever. Background is a byproduct of their experience. They went to war. Now, they were a sorcerer, a ghostly sorcerer, and I want to tie in the Spectre to the Spectre transformation. So, ba-ba-ba-da-boo. And I want it actually to mirror my previous character a little bit, because they were haunted, not haunted, they were possessed even by their twin that died pre-birth. But yeah, so they were there, they used magic and a simple weapon. Now, they're still using a simple weapon. And do I intend for them to use a martial weapon? No. I've homebrewed a simple weapon for them to use as their, at least I think it's a simple weapon, spear. Should be a simple weapon. But yeah, they're using a spear, and I've homebrewed the spear so that hopefully it will be okay. Does an extra d4 frost damage, it's a +1 weapon, and a +1 spellcasting focus while attuned. While not attuned, it still gains the other 2 benefits. Yeah, and then I just said that, you know, they were doing that, they were fighting, and they found I've been impaled quite a lot. Maybe I'll try to learn how to use armor. So they spoke with the other people in the war. They were like, yeah, no worries, you're pretty good, your magic is useful, we want to protect you, here's some good armor, here's how to use it. And they trained whilst they weren't on the battlefield, whilst they were moving between places, because, you know, again, mercenary, could be on a caravan guard duty, and eventually, over time, they gained proficiency. And it wasn't enough. So they found a shield, and learned how to use that in conjunction with the spear. And then they got those enchanted. They're level 7, they would have earned quite a bit of money doing all of this sellsword work, even if they weren't in it for the money. Maybe they found the armor or the shield. They found the shield, or the shield was a reward for a mission of sorts. Then they found the armor, or they earned enough money to get the armor enchanted. And they found the spear. They were using a normal spear, they found a magical spear. That sort of thing. Now, I have asked for information from the DM regarding deities, because I've got a bunch of really scattered notes from my current character, and I would like to collate those if I have the energy and time today. Who knows whether I will. But I would also potentially like to have my current character be my current character? The backup character be religious. And I would kind of be looking for a Bahamut e-god justice, because that's why they're not a fan of the torture. They feel like very little would be important enough for torture, and it is my opinion that Amberstone is going to be like a bunch of people who are like, they'll torture for almost anything. They enjoy it, but also any form of information is worthy of it. I've got a lot of emails just come through. My watch was going crazy, and I was like, what is this? Is this an alarm? But no, I've just got like 8 emails. Whatever. Yeah, so 10 emails. 11 emails. Stop! I'm going to take it off. This is annoying. And I know this is a very long vlog at this point, but I don't get the opportunity often, and I enjoy it. So, here we go. Bada-boo! It's like a diary of a diary. That's what a vlog is. A video log of a diary. As I believe my first vlog on this channel said, and my flatmate took the piss out of me when I shoot them that video, but whatever. So, where was I? Something to do with D&D. Religion, yes. So, backup character, justice. They're going to be a little bit edgy. They're not going to use the Spectre very much. And they're not going to use the Spectre form very much. What they are going to use the Spectre form for, though, is a little sneaky thing of items that have not been on their person for 1 minute. Do not travel with them when they go through solid objects, meaning if they get manacled, they can Spectre through them. If they, I don't know, get shot with an arrow, they no longer want the arrow to be in them. They can Spectre and it will be out of them, so long as they do it within a minute, which is pretty cool. There's a net, not anymore. Easy way to not be restrained, etc. So long as the restraint is caused by an object, not an individual. So, extrapolating on that, they also get an extra 10 foot of movement, so I'm not going to be too restricted on my movement speed, which is nice. And I can intimidate, because paladin person is also going to be religious. They are going to be like an evangelical person, if I am remembering my religious terms correctly. They're going to be trying to spread their faith. And they're going to try really hard and talk about it with people to death. My guy, they're my backup character, their faith is more going to be I have my faith, it's very personal to me, it's private. I will inform you of it if you ask, but I will not try and push it on you, and I will only give you the information you request, because it is personal to me. I think that would be kind of cool. I've not played a religious character for a very long time. I think last time was a cleric to one of my own characters, which was hilarious. So, what else? Don't know. You know, about 20 minutes ago, shortly after I started this, I said, I have a busy day today, and that is true. Lots of emails to do, etc. Not looking forward to it, but I'd best get back to the flat and do it. So, yeah, hope you have a good day. Hope you have not been terribly bored by this half an hour of a vlog. And, yeah, I will catch you cats on the flip-flop. Goodbye.